I don't either.
Welcome to the Denim and Pearls podcast. Business casual conversation laced with pearls of wisdom. Casual, authentic, unscripted dialogue about life, work, and entrepreneurship with the perfect blend of laughter and seriousness. Pull up a chair, kick back, and lean in as we welcome your hosts, Michelle Ross and Brian Swanson.
Hi there.
Peace.
My name is Michelle Moross.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
And we are Denim and Pearls. We are business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch.
Today, we are going to talk about controversy and all the things that go around it, because we all have our opinions, don't we?
Controversy.
It's
a Prince song, by the way. That's what came
It's a wonderful Prince song, actually. It's an old school song.
Yes, it is. It only has like 20 words in it, but it goes with controversy.
Well, it's kind of like hit me with your best shot. There's only, 5 words in that whole song?
Yeah.
Like
controversy. It plagues us daily. It plagues us every moment of our lives. And really, where does it stem? That's what we're talking about. Where does it stem from in our businesses and in our personal lives? And we're going to tie it all together. So,
well, I think this is one big subject. I mean, because it really covers not only our personal, and our business life. It covers everything across the board, because we deal with it every day. Whether you turn on the TV, and even if you watch the History Channel, there's still controversy. Even your Ancient Aliens has controversy.
That's all it is.
It's
okay. I was thinking about controversy from the smallest to the biggest, but today we're going to talk about the small ones, unless you come on comments and we talk a little bit bigger things. But I told Brian here, I just went into the restroom, into his restroom, and I'm really anal retentive about toilet paper going over when you pull on it. It goes over, right? And
I guess I'm a guy. I don't think about those things.
Well, I know guys who do, but my thing is I turned it so that it went over, just to see if anyone's going to notice that I actually changed it.
No, not in this house.
But controversy can be something as small as which way does the toilet paper come off the roll, right? Yep. Or to I had a whole conversation, a whole actual battle with one of my children's friends. They were over for a sleepover. It was a while back. And she put her milk in first, and then she put her cereal in. And it started a whole conversation. I'm like, who puts milk in, then the cereal? Have you ever done that?
Oh, no, because I have it where you put the cereal in and you fill the milk up to a certain level.
So that the cereal goes to the top.
Well, no, so you can see the milk. I've done that ever since I was a kid. You pour the cereal in, then you pour the milk in, and when the milk comes up to where you can actually see it, you've got the right amount.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, Mike doesn't have to worry about the toilet paper roll. He's got his own house.
Good for you. But see, that's the whole thing, is like little things like that, from something as small as which way does the toilet paper come off the roll, to do you put milk in it or do you put cereal in? See, my thing is I would eat a bowl of dry cereal. I put the milk in because
that's disturbing.
Because I like to drink the milk after it soaks up all the yumminess out of the sugar of the cereal.
Yeah, I know. It's like you could put it in, stir it around a little bit, take it out, put the cereal aside, and drink the milk.
Yeah, they invented that bowl for me. Did you ever see that bowl? I think Walmart has it. It's a bowl with a straw that goes to the bottom. It's connected to the bowl.
No.
You haven't seen that? So you can basically put your cereal, or like in my case, I love putting, this is my secret thing, peanut butter crunch. I love peanut butter crunch. And so I will put peanut butter crunch, and I will let it sit there till it coagulates into peanut butter mush. Ew. And then I will drink it.
No.
I'll eat the crunchy ones on the top, but then I will drink the melted peanut butter in the bottom. I love peanut butter.
Well, what about the ones that make the chocolate? Like what was chocolate?
Yeah, the Cocoa Puffy things. Yeah.
Okay. There's not much controversy in that, though.
No, strawberry one too. The Franken strawberry.
Frankenberry.
Frankenberry. Man, I'm all unlocked on cereal. Can you tell?
What the hell does this have to do with?
It's a controversial thing, because some people are set in the way they do.
I mean, because we can talk about weird people who like to eat mayonnaise sandwiches or mayonnaise and cheese sandwiches or put mustard on their pizza, but that's not really a controversy. That's just disgusting.
No, that's a controversy, because people get upset about things like that. And it's all about, that's what we're talking about, is the controversial things that we as humans get upset about, that things that irritate us so much that it interrupts our lives. And when you bend it all the way down to the bottom nitty gritty, it's as simple as which way does the toilet paper come off the roll?
Right. Well, I'm a little more serious, and when I think of controversy, I think that it's more of a serious word. Okay, I don't really think of the toilet paper roll a controversy. I think of that as that's my way or the highway kind of thing. I don't know.
It's because it's your house.
But I really wonder about other things. Like, one thing I always hated growing up, and especially once I joined the military, is, and I'm going to go really serious on here, so warning, 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 don't call me racist. You can call me everything else. You can say I'm mean. You can say I'm ugly. You can do all like that, but don't call me racist, because I don't believe that I am. And I don't care what color, creed, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I've been called racist, and I'm everything.
Well, so am I too. But it still, to me, that was one of those things that would really set me off. Do not call me that.
Okay.
Because it's just, I don't know. I mean, my wife told me when we got married, you can do anything you want to. You can say I'm bitchy, but do not call me a bitch.
Ah.
I mean, we all have our limits. We all have our areas where we actually set our boundaries, if you will.
Yeah, but and that's why I say controversy rears its little head in all sorts of things, and at different intensities. And I believe that, yes, controversy is a very big word. It's a very serious word, but I was trying to mellow it down to, controversy is someone else's opinion not agreeing with you, and therefore it's flipped. And so they use it against you and say, this is this because you are. And they do that pointing finger thing, the points all back.
The three point back at you, yeah.
And I think with controversy, when people are upset about something, they say, well, this is controversial. I believe in this and you don't, so therefore you are. Well, that's controversy.
That's kind of what our society has come to today. It's my way or that's it. There's no other way. This is my opinion, my 2 cents worth. I don't care if it's political or what it is, but society has come to the point of, this is the way I think, and this is all I can say about it. And who cares what you say about it?
Well, honestly, what really started it is I came to the porch with Brian today, and there was a video playing on Facebook or wherever, and the woman was having a rant about, I can't afford to put gas in my car.
Oh, yeah.
And the response was, well, why don't you just get an electric car? You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And her joke was, her very serious joke was, I can't put $5 in my car because I can't afford the $7 milk, but you're telling me to buy a $68,000 electric car. Where do you think? I don't have $5, but I can get a car. And that was what the joke was. I'm like, that's a big controversy.
Well, it's going to be a while before we can be able to go to the used car lot and actually find used electric vehicles.
There aren't any, because
there's a few of them out there. I mean, you can go out and buy a Tesla that, it started out at $135,000, and now you can maybe pay $35,000 for it if it works.
If it works, because the battery is the problem. If you can't get the battery, you're basically buying a whole new car, which is why if you find a used car that's an electric car in a used car lot, it's already dead. Just buy a whole new car.
So, well, you can't just go down to Costco and get a whole pack of AA's?
A whole engine. It would be an engine. So if you're out there watching us right now, and I see your eyeballs, like and share, because we're live, and please make a comment. We would love to hear what controversial subject, without getting too crazy, would you like to talk about? Because our world right now is crazy with controversy. Everybody's disagreeing and having arguments. And honestly, I do that Byron Katie thing. There's 3 types of business. There's my business, your business, and God's business. Get out of everybody else's.
Well, there's always, yeah. Anyway, you said what I was going to say. I always finish that off with, in nobody's business. But everything we do, I mean, it actually, controversy makes the world go round. It really does. Because if we didn't have controversy, we couldn't have discussions. And if we don't have discussions, we can't come up with solutions to whatever situation we may have.
But see, that's the issue with what's happening in society today, is that discussion isn't happening. Because you disagree, then you're wrong, and they stop and they don't want to talk about anything else. And just think, the world, as you said, the world goes around because of this. If someone wasn't looking at the horse and buggy, okay, and saying, I am sick and tired of picking up all this horse poop on this road. I keep stepping in it. There's got to be a better way where we're not using horses on this road.
I think they designed cars because we were lazy. We're just as a human being, we're lazy.
That's what I'm saying. Someone said, "You're right. I don't want to pick. I don't like stepping in that poop either. Those are kind of big piles of manure. Maybe we should do another way of getting rid of the horse's poop. How can we? Right. Well, I can make an engine powered thing that works like a horse that doesn't poop. What we didn't realize is it didn't poop on the ground. It pooped it into the air. And now all these hundreds of years later, we realized the poop that used to be on the ground is now in our air. And now we're worried about the ozone and all this other.
Which itself, the ozone's a controversy in itself.
Exactly.
Because
does it even exist?
What is that called? Global warming. I mean, it's a big controversy as we speak now. But I'm a big believer. Okay, the world might be getting warmer. I agree with that, but I think it's one of the natural stages that we go through, because if you look at history and follow history, we've gone through the ice age and we've gone through the hot times and we've done this and we've done that. The changes are always minute per year, but I don't think we as a human race are creating 100% a cause of the problem. I think that it's just something that's naturally going to happen.
If you study earth science, and we used to have a class in school called Earth Sciences, where it kind of gave you this overall view of how the world evolves, how species come and go. It's a sine wave. Anyone who watches math, it goes up, it goes down, and it repeats for infinity. It's just like a sound wave. It does this.
It's just like fashion.
Yes.
Bell bottoms are
back. Platform shoes are back. And so with this whole thing with the controversy of, let's say, the ozone layer, we need to stop, emitting gases and things of that nature. Yes, Brian's face is a controversy in itself. Because look at all this. What is this? Okay, so that's the thing, is there can be controversy in everything. And people are like, oh my gosh, we have to stop the ozone. There's so much something going in what is that gas that's coming out? The gas. CO2. You know who produces the biggest CO2 emissions that's messing up with our ozone?
Don't tell me cows.
It's cow manure, cow farts. So what are we going to do to stop that? If we want to stop that, do we either stop eating meat altogether? So what do? We get rid of cows? Or do we get giant, this is going to sound bad, giant cow butt plugs, and we stick it into the cow's butt and say, don't fart?
Then we'd have a bigger mess.
Then they're going to be exploding.
Because they go...
So really, I mean, this is a serious subject, but what I wanted to share with all of you, and Brian and I agreed on this, was sometimes there are things that we argue about that aren't worth the argument because they're completely out of our control. And instead of arguing about what someone else is doing, remember that pointing finger? The other three are pointing back at you. Instead of pointing that finger out at someone else, look at myself. Remember that Michael Jackson song, I'm looking at the man in the mirror? I'm asking him to change his ways. So basically, if you're having a problem, what can you do? Oh my God, kazoos and cow butts. Can you imagine?
And you get mad at your neighbor for having wind chimes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would sound like if when you drive through Kansas?
Or Nebraska.
Or Nebraska, yeah. That would be more. Okay. Oh my God.
But see, that's the thing about controversy. Yes, it's a serious subject. It's a serious subject.
It is.
But before you build so much into what your opinion is and how other people aren't doing it right, look at yourself and see how you can do what you're doing right. Oh, yes, the hills are alive with the sounds of butt music.
He didn't say butt music.
Oh, I did. You have to remember, when we moved from the Philippines, we moved to the United States. We moved to Nebraska. And there was nothing but cows and corn. Nebraska should be called the Sea State. Cows and corns and cowboys. I love Nebraska, by the way. Hello, Helene.
What?
Cows.
Corn.
Cowboys.
Okay. I guess they all go together.
Seas.
Okay. No. But yeah. God, all I'm thinking about now, thanks to Nathan, is I mean, we're trying to talk serious controversy here. I mean, look at the world. If we talk about it in our business, everybody's got their opinion on how our business should run. Everybody's got their hands in our business, if you will, because if you look at the tax man, okay, I'm still a big, cannot figure out why I have to pay a fee to apply to pay for taxes. That to me is a major
For
controversy.
the money that I made.
Yeah,
Yes.
it makes no sense to me. I mean, if I need a license to pay taxes, okay, just give it to me. Okay, why should I have to pay for it? It makes no sense to me. That is controversy. Why should I have to have a license anyway to do business? And I'm going to bring it back to, I just posted it last week. I bought a new truck. Why do I have to go through 3 to 4 days, and it's still not over, of buying the truck, filling out all the paperwork, which looks like a mortgage these days, and turn around having to pay taxes on it, having to put a license on it. Then I got to talk to the insurance guy, which is another 2 hours worth of conversation, and then I got to wait 3 weeks or whatever it is for the paperwork to come so that I can go spend the taxes on the license plate so that I can get my license
I
plate.
personally
I
want to
don't get
bill
it.
all of the people who wasted my time when I bought my car, when I just wanted to buy the car and walk away. And
Yeah,
so
why
you
can't I
took
just go out and say, this is mine, here's my
5
money?
hours out of my life here, so that's a $5,000 bill. It took
Right.
3 hours, that's a three. I paid off my car if I just billed all the other people for wasting my time.
But you know why it is?
Why?
Because somebody tried to break the rules somewhere. So somebody has to do another piece of paper so that you don't break the rules, even though somebody else turns around, breaks the rules, and creates another piece of paper. So you get
That's again back to controversy. Because there's so much that goes on where sometimes it's out of our control. And oh yes, poor Brian.
Yep.
But hi, Dinky. Yes, it is an old truck. But
It
it's
is
a
an old
really
truck.
nice truck. It drives a lot better than his other truck.
But it is an old truck. But the thing of it is it's still the same paperwork no matter what, whether it's an old car or a new car that you buy. It's only a matter of whether you got to go through the financing or not.
Yeah, Dinky, we talked about the real estate. Real estate's crazy. I mean, that application's like 15%.
Holy moly, what is that?
Whoa. What was that?
I don't know. Oh, that's the
Uh,
electric cars. You
yeah,
can spend the
electric
extra
cars.
money for the conversation.
Conversion kits. Yes.
There's a 40 miles or 3. I'll have to read that one later.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
writing.
verbiage.
Hi, Krista. Thanks for joining us. Well, just think of something as simple as I was out in the Northeast with my publisher and my photographer, Ken, Dr. Smiley Rashawn. And he has...
Like you looked at me like I didn't know who you were talking about.
I didn't for a second there. I'm really tired. But he has a Tesla. And it was so crazy because we're driving around. He has, we can only go here so that we can make it back to here. I'm like, why? Is because by the time we make it to this other stop, we're only at 20%. And I need at least percent to get to my house. So I can, and I'm like, whoa, stop. You're doing math to drive your car.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, but it's easy math. I do. No. You are doing math to drive your car. And so my thought was, I would have jumped in my gas-powered car,
right,
and drove up to Philly, done what I needed to do, fill my gas up and come back.
Right.
But that's what he couldn't do. He had to drive to a train station, park his car, plug it in
right,
so that we could leave. So we could take the train to something else so he could come back to his parked car that was plugged in so we could make it back to his house. So he had enough battery in that car to get him home.
Well, first of all, I'm going to blame Ken for that one because he's got 325 miles on a car. So he was driving either a long ways or he didn't have it charged when he left the house.
Probably didn't have it charged when he left.
That's my guess. Okay. Second of all, we used to do the same thing with our cars with gas.
Yes.
I mean, we're doing it now more. We're trying to figure out how much money we have in order to put gas into our tanks. I'm not, but a lot of
just
people
think
are.
the people at the gas station just here in Colorado. I
Right.
saw a lady. She left the gas station. I took the pump that she was at. She filled it to, and I'm not joking, $3.29.
Holy moly.
How do you even do that?
Right. But now she's doing the math to figure out how far she can get to work.
Yeah.
Or get home from work or get to the grocery store or pick up her kids or whatever that happens to be.
She was doing
She's
the
having
minimum.
to do the math in order to figure that out. So what's the difference between doing the math there and doing your math with an electric vehicle, trying to figure out if you can get there or not?
With a gas-powered car that dies on the side of the road, you find another gas station, get a gas container and fill it back up.
Or a really long extension cord.
With them, they have to find a really long extension cord, or you got to get that sucker towed to a place where you can charge it again.
I see. Helene
What?
says, I get this. You know what?
What?
You ever been to a place like Mackinac Island?
What's that?
Bicycle built for two. Mackinac Island, there's no cars allowed on the thing except for service vehicles.
Oh, yes.
So anywhere you go on there, you have to ride a bicycle or walk.
Yeah,
of course.
that's where I plan on buying our condo. Not there, but in a
I'm
place
wondering,
in Georgia.
now that I think about it, I wonder if this is going to turn some of our downtown areas. I mean, I know we're trying to go bicycle paths and all that stuff, which drive me nuts anyway, especially as a driver. Another controversy, if you will. But are we going to have more walk friendly areas? I mean, if you go overseas,
They do that.
they walk everywhere. They walk down the middle of the road, and if a car needs to come by, they beep beep, and everybody moves, and then everybody goes back into the middle of the road.
But really, that's really what's happening. I mean, think about the cities. Like in Denver, 16th Street Mall, they closed it down. Only the trolley goes through 16th Street.
Exactly.
So the
And
cars have
service
to park on the outside in service vehicles. They can go through, but mostly it's a walking district or little mopedy bike things
Right, but
or bicycles.
But have you really noticed that most people don't walk in the street, though?
No.
They walk on the wide sidewalks. They still haven't been conditioned, if you will,
that you can walk in
that
the
you can
middle.
walk down the middle of the
They
street.
even put pianos in the middle of the street, so you know that you can walk in it, and people still don't.
So Dinky says, "Go green makes me mad." I get that. What's it? And I would agree with this. It makes me mad, but it's not time to do it just yet.
Well, it's slowly. You have to do it slowly. It's
Right.
like slow conversion. And,
Well,
and
it's like
my
there's-
thing is, and until they perfect that dang battery, they should be encouraging hybrid cars. Brian's wife has the most awesome car. I mean, they drive around and only use electricity, and it's very rare that they actually kick in to need the gas.
Right.
That's a great hybrid
Yeah,
car.
it goes
That I can see them encouraging people to do.
Yeah, because it goes
Use
from full
less.
electric to hybrid.
Yeah, use less gas. Great. That's a great idea. Use more of the electric, especially when we're driving around areas that we can get through. And then if you absolutely need it, then it'll kick into gas. That's brilliant. But to say go straight electric, places like Colorado or Texas where we're so spread out.
Well, we
Yeah.
haven't even figured out the grid system. They figured out too. Somebody's done the math, and I'm sure there's somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. But somebody figured out the math that if everybody in a neighborhood had an electric vehicle and they all plugged their vehicle in at night,
Boom.
we're going to lose the grid because our system's not made for it.
Yeah, like California, they have rolling brownouts, basically.
Well, brownouts and blackouts
Yeah.
and electricity, air conditioning, all that
And
stuff.
if you move everybody to electric, let's say in California, they're already having problems with electricity.
Well, all of them who are trying to go green are still having problems because we haven't perfected
We're not
it.
ready for it.
There's this particular congresswoman out there who's started this big thing with the Green New Deal and all this other stuff that says we need to get rid of like jets that are, gas powered. Well, how are we going to do that to get to Hawaii?
You're
Okay.
not.
And right now we can't. So I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but when somebody says, let's do it now, or in the next 10 years,
We're not prepped.
we're not ready for it. But if you say, let's look for 2050, which is what, 28 years down the road, that might not even be enough because we don't have solar airplanes that can haul 300 people at a time and go a distance of 4,000 miles to
No, they would
get
be.
to
They're
California
going to
to
be
Hawaii.
building mini islands out in the middle of the ocean so they can hop and plug in, hop and plug in. And you can't plug in because you need to get electricity to it in order for them to plug in.
That's
See,
interesting. Because if we look back at Amelia Earhart had to stop at all the islands and island hop in order to make her trip.
Mhm.
Even though we lost her at one point. But who was the other guy? Who was the guy that did it? Spirit of St. Louis. That guy. He had to make stops along the way in order to get around the world.
Do you remember
Lindbergh.
what they did?
So now we'd have to make stops to plug in.
Yeah, but they also, I think they put supplies on each of those stops. So something else went out there, dropped all the supplies. So when they landed, they had what they needed,
Right.
resupplied, and went back up again.
It was called planning.
We would
It was
have,
event planning.
yeah, we would have to build in infrastructure across the ocean for these things to happen. And I just lost what I was going to say about all of that. Oh, Germany. Germany is very green, and now they're running out of resources with all
That's
the
because they
Russia
have
things.
humidity over there.
With all the Russia thing going on and all those bad things happening with the Ukraine, their power sources are limited. Do you know they just made it illegal for hot water in public buildings?
There's nothing worse than going into the bathroom and the water's cold.
Well, they just turned it off, which means public buildings, not hotels. I mean, I'm thinking about that because I'm going to Europe in October, and it's like, is there going to not be hot water in the hotels? I mean, if
Well, I would think
Controversy.
I'm thinking there's probably an exception for the showers.
I hope so.
But I'm
because that's
thinking if
crazy.
you're going into a bar, you should. What's the need really and truly of having a hot water
There
system
isn't.
aside from
and that's
the
why
kitchen?
hot, and you can boil water for coffee,
Right.
or tea.
But if you really think about it, it is going to save energy,
It is, and that's what they did. They cut so
and,
that
and it's
people
going to probably save water too because nobody wants a cold shower. They're in the shower and out.
could jump in, jump out. So the topic today is controversy. There's just so much going on. And remember, controversy does make the world go around. If we all agreed all the time, there would be no innovation. Innovation is stemmed off of controversy. Change is stemmed, is caused, is it's a reaction to what we don't like. Controversy is good. Just remember, keep the options open, keep the conversation going. That's why Brian and I are friends. We do not agree on a lot of things, but we are open to discussion and respect each other's opinions, and we listen to why he believes or he listens to why I believe, and we come to this mutual agreement. You know what? We're agreeing to disagree, but I respect where you come from, and he respects where I come from. That's where friendships are built.
Well, I'm gonna take it a whole thing, because controversy is good, discussion is good. However, we all, as a human creature, human being, and our natural tendencies are to be welcomed into parts of society.
As Dinky says, respectful with negotiations.
Yes, respectful with negotiations. But how do I have a discussion and still fit in? Because if I want to fit in and say, I don't know, a speaking group of some sort, I have to follow certain standards, certain rules. But if I don't agree with them, yeah, go ahead, hit the highway kind of thing. But good controversy is there. But on the other side of it, it can also be a hindrance.
Walk away, walk away, walk away. There's things that you cannot control, and sometimes you just walk away. And it's better to be, at peace than to keep fighting a brick wall. There's an old proverb. I think it's a donkey and a tiger, and they're arguing. The donkey says, the grass is green. The donkey says, the grass is blue. And the tiger said, no, the grass is green. The donkey said, no, it's blue. And I'm telling you, it's blue. And the tiger's like, no, it's green. And the donkey says, no, let's bring it to the king of the jungle. Let's bring it to the lion, because I know that I'm right, because the grass is blue. And the tiger's like, okay, then let's bring it up to the lion, because he's the king of the jungle. And they said, hey, lion. The lion's like, what are you going to do? What do you need me? What advice do you need from me? I'm the king of the jungle, and I'm wise. They said,
I know everything.
The donkey says, lion, king of the jungle, please tell this silly tiger that the grass is blue, and he's wrong, and I'm right. The grass is blue. And the lion says, okay. He says, punish him because he's wrong. And the lion says, you're right. The grass is blue. Your punishment. And he gives the tiger a punishment. Well, the donkey's all excited. The donkey's hopping up and down, just, ooh, I told you I was right. The grass is blue. The grass is blue. You're wrong, tiger. You're wrong. I'm right. The grass is blue. And he goes skippity, happity away. Stop looking like you're bored. Listen, this is great.
I'm waiting for the end of the story.
Listen, you've got to listen. The tiger looks at the lion and says, sire, you know the grass is green. Why did you agree with this donkey that it's blue, and that now he's all happy and you're going to punish me? And the lion looks very calmly at the tiger, and he says, there's no sense arguing with an ass. The ass is going
really tell me there's more than that to the punchline.
The ass is always going to be set in what he wants to believe, and will always think you're wrong. Even if I told him, as the lion, king of the jungle, the grass is green, the donkey would fight me and say, now I'm wrong. What I did was let the donkey have his way. Because no matter what intelligence, no matter what facts you give him, he will always believe in what he believes. I'm punishing you, tiger, because you're wiser and you know better than to argue with an ass and to waste my time by bringing that argument to me. So in the world of arguments and negotiations, sometimes there are people who are just going to keep ramming their head into the wall. Recognize that those people will never change their ways, and let them believe what they want. You know better. You go on and keep talking about the grass being green. Let them keep talking about the grass being blue, and let them be on their way. Stop wasting the airwaves and your time and everyone else's time arguing with someone who will never change what they believe.
Are you done now?
It's pretty deep.
It is deep if you think about it. It is.
A lot of people argue with asses.
It is true. However, I have to disagree with a certain part of that.
It's an old proverb.
It is, and I'm with it. I get it. But I also have to disagree with it to a certain point, because you still have people who, even if you please them, now you're coddling them.
You're not cuddling.
Or
That tiger
they're
didn't.
gonna
The
take
tiger didn't.
advantage.
The tiger didn't go around and say, "Donkey, you're right. It's blue. I will never say it's green again." The tiger just went,
Right.
and the lion said, "Bye bye."
Right. But the thing of it is it creates a pattern, and then they do it again.
No.
Yeah, some people do.
No, the proverb is not about changing.
Well, I'm not talking about
the
proverb.
proverb is not
I'm
about
talking against the
changing
proverb.
changing someone's mind. It's recognizing when a person will never change their ways, and you need to just let them go.
Passivism, that's the word.
Yes, but there are people that no matter what, you will never change their mind. Recognize that that is what you're dealing with. There's a difference. Brian and I will talk till our faces turn blue, and I know that he will always be set in his ways for one thing. I will not argue with him because he will not argue with me. But
you're no fun, and we want to argue.
And so that's the thing. You recognize the limitations of someone's capability and let it go.
I want to go back to here because this is a hot topic these days.
What?
Violence is never the answer. Is that true or is it not? I mean, I think for the most part, it's not. Why should there be violence? But there's some people who just don't listen.
Well, no. But the violence only comes into bigger plays when there's thousands of people involved. So like in the Philippines with Marcos, they had to take that guy out. They did it passively. They did it with negotiations. But then you have dictators who are out there slaughtering people by the millions. And let's say that's Kosovo. They had to go in and take something out. You think so? Violence is the answer when there is no negotiation possible because that other person is so far crazy that you just got to stop them before they kill.
I would say I don't agree with the fact that violence is not the answer. You're up giving a speech and somebody disagrees with you, comes running up on stage and wants to beat the shit out of you. That's probably not. Violence is definitely not the answer.
In your everyday life. In everyday life, violence is never the answer.
Right.
But when it comes to nations, sometimes violence has to happen in order to stop someone from hurting more people.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, I'm answering Dean.
I was like, who are you exactly? Is that a word?
Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Dictators and people who are causing mass death and chaos, those people you can't say, can you please stop killing people now? Because, it's really bad. They don't give a crap. That's where I think that's where the violence comes in. That's why nations come upon nations, because it's too big to say, you're wrong, right? And that other person standing on a high horse doing dun dun dun, I'm king of the world. Everyone should die because I'm best and I'm smart. No, you got to go. That kind of thing. Yes. That's only when I think violence can come in, is when there are many more lives to save than that one.
Well, I also think,
we go to the Star Trek too.
There's also this thing too. You're talking on a very large scale, in a national, European scale, or not European, international scale, those kind of things. The one thing that I really don't agree with these days is when we were kids, there were times when we used to get in fights. And we would get in a fight because we disagreed over something or somebody. You can blame some of it on bullying, I'm sure, which is not a good thing. But on the other hand, we used to get in fights, but we didn't have to worry about somebody carrying a gun or a knife to school to take us out. There was sometimes it was just the guy needed the crap beat out of him in order for us to move on and get along.
Well, I'm just thinking, like at the gas station the other day, I saw two men pull up to the same gas pump, and we are lacking gas pumps out in our area. And the one guy jumps out of the car and starts screaming obscenities to the other guy who was completely clueless. He just pulled up.
He had no idea what he did.
Yeah, he just pulled up because it's a gas pump. And the other guy's, well, I was waiting for that. And he wanted to punch him. The guy jumped out of his car running at this completely unsuspected guy about a gas pump. No, violence is not the answer. There is plenty of gas. You do not need to bash someone's face in because he pulled up to a gas pump. You got to pick your battles, people. The guy he didn't know. And the guy who came out of the car, he said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you there. You had to see me. You had to. I was seeing that. I was sitting. I'm like, we're about to see someone get shot.
Over a gas pump.
And there were 6 other ones open.
Right. Well,
Violence is not
The
an
other
answer.
3 of those were actually had yellow things on them, I'm sure.
No, they didn't.
This gas station.
Because I pulled up to the next one. I'm like, man, good thing that guy didn't want to punch me because
Well, maybe he was in a hurry. He had a reason. He was in a hurry and he got his time disrupted.
then pull around to one of the open ones.
Yeah, but he took, the other guy took the
Wait
pump.
10 minutes, because now what you did is you held him up at the pump, arguing with the pump when you could have just drove to the other one or waited the 5 minutes for him to put his $5 worth of gas in the car and then pulled in.
I want to add this one in there too.
Go ahead.
Even in cities in the U.S., it's stirred by those wanting to stir up controversy and deflect other issues. Simplifying that, there's people out there who they just look for controversy. They look for it. It's part of their soul. I mean, even you go on social media and people want to just ping, 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 ping. And a lot of times that's because they're hidden. But on the other thing, we see plenty of video of people in Walmart or people in the grocery store or people in whatever who are doing things like what you're talking about at the gas pumps. We see it constantly because they just want to create a problem. It's like the alcoholic that goes into the bar who's drunk and looking for a fight.
Yeah, there's people who feed on aggression and they're upset, so they need the attention or the riling of people. I mean, I had people attacking me for being mean or wrong or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm the most neutral person you can probably meet.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm pretty darn neutral. So to find an argument in anything I say, I mean, maybe not today's topic, but normally I don't post anything except uplifting. And then someone attacked me for saying something like, let's all just get along, find some green in this grass for you.
Mm-hmm.
And someone attacked me for saying the grass is not green. And I went, I'm saying find greener pastures, find some happy thought. There are no happy thoughts. The world sucks. And I'm like, well, okay, if that's how you are, then you can leave my page because I will always find the silver lining. Always.
Well, there always is. I mean, there's tons of things.
I got attacked for wanting to see a silver lining.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, especially nowadays on social media from that aspect. But my truck got destroyed. We all know my truck got destroyed. I can either look at that from like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Why did this idiot hit the car or the truck? There's so many negative things I can go through, or I can look at it from the perspective, well, I guess it was time for a new truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's simplifying it.
Well, in my TEDx, I did my TEDx and I was talking about you have to plan, eat dessert first, enjoy life a little bit. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Find the good in it and focus on that, because whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
And the only comment this person started rattling on my YouTube page was, eat, drink, and be merry. It's more like stop eating, you fat lard ass. That's what the guy wrote. I had nothing but happy things to say in a really bad situation I was going through, and they attacked me anyways.
Wow.
What are those called? Those people,
trolls.
They're trolls. What all they do is look for something bad. There are trolls in your everyday life. Be careful who you listen to. That's really what this controversy topic is about. Right. Is pick the battles that you're willing to get sick over.
Right. Well, looking at some of the comments that are falling through or coming through, there's a lot of ones that we've kind of picked and chosen. We've picked and chosen to either address or not to address. But I think really what we've done here is we've stirred up a lot of thought processes. Okay. We've stirred up some of those emotions from some of those hotter topics out there that we didn't discuss, mm-hmm. because everybody thinks of their own areas of controversy. They're either going to put themselves in it or they're not going to put themselves in it.
I have a really big controversial thing.
Or they're going to deal with it when somebody else does. What? Like you were serious.
I went to an ice cream place in Baltimore and they didn't have pecans.
They didn't have any ice cream?
They had ice cream. They only didn't have pecans. And they offered me wet walnuts.
I went to Arby's. They didn't have any roast beef.
Yeah. Exactly, Dickie, is what I basically told the person who was attacking me. Is I said, stop following me. If you cannot stand me being happy, stop following me, because that's all you're going to get out of me. I said that you're not being forced to watch my content. Delete me from your page. Stop watching me. Right. If you hate me that much, stop going here to be miserable.
Right. Yeah. Right? If you don't like happiness.
It's like, why are you torturing yourself with my happiness? Go. And they did disappear, but I thought that was funny.
That's interesting. Why would why would you leave Happy Land?
Because they said I was impractical.
Oh,
Yeah, I walk around with rose-colored glasses. I do no, absolutely just the opposite. I didn't explain this. Is I know the world has very bad places. I've experienced a lot of really bad things in my life, but if I focus on those bad things, I'm just going to get more of those. So I stopped focusing on all the sad, the bad. I'm not running around acting like it didn't happen. I address it, address what I can and cannot change,
right.
and then move on. But I don't dwell.
I think the key, that last part of it, the move on is always the hardest part. It really is. It doesn't matter what, whatever tragedy happens in your life or happens on a daily basis or whatever. I think the hardest part, because we can address the situation, solve the situation, but moving on is always the hardest part.
It is difficult, but that doesn't mean you need to dwell in it. I mean, I'm a freaking cancer patient. Helene knows that. We're chemo buddies. And we could sit there and worry every day of our lives that I still have that cancer bug in me. Oh my God, that cancer thing's still in me. Right. We could sit there and that will paralyze us for the rest of our days. Or we can say, you know what? Yeah, I've got cancer in me. But you know what? Today's a beautiful day and I'm going to make it the best day I have. I'm going to live and I'm going to make my life the best it can be. I'm going to bring smiles to people. And if I drop dead while I'm in the middle of it, at least I died smiling and not crying.
That's one of the things when I was doing a lot of networking and stuff like that, people would say, hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good morning. Well, what do you mean good morning? Because every minute is like a new day.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of the old crap, new crap, and those new positive rose-colored glasses.
I like rose-colored glasses.
those can pop up in your life. But you've got to get rid of, a lot of times you've got to get rid of that controversy that's behind you, whether it's a family member or a friend, or sometimes you just got to tell your friend, get lost, get bent. And you got to move on and get rid of the controversy in your life. Because there's a lot of people out there that I know, and there's nobody on here that I'm speaking directly to for sure.
Those are not purple people who don't like smiles.
That's right. I do know people that they carry a black cloud with them everywhere they go.
Yeah.
It's like they've thrown up a lasso and grabbed a hold of that black cloud, and every minute of their day is something's wrong or something's tragic once a week.
Well, that's because those people need tragedy in order to fuel themselves. They live in misery. Stay away from people who live in misery. Okay, life is too short to live in misery.
It's kind of like looking for the orange car. You never see an orange car until you buy it.
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
The cartoon.
Lucy.
No, the guy who was
Snoopy.
The one who carried around the dirt with him all the time.
Linus.
No, he carried a blanket. There was one that was always dirty.
Oh goodness gracious!
What's his name?
I forgot his name. Somebody tell us who it is. I can't remember his name.
He walked around and there was always this dirt cloud around him. And he was a really nice guy, but he always had dirt around him. And every time he walked by, everyone and all the Peanuts characters would do.
Right. I know who you're talking about, but what about him?
Those are the people with the clouds around them. They may be really nice people, but when you leave them, you feel dirty.
Pigpen.
Pigpen. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes. Pigpen. There are pigpens in the world. And in our natural world, it's not dirty. It's the negativity they like to carry around them. Mm-hmm. And that's the image I just had in my head. There are people who are good people and you really like them, but every time you're around them, you feel kind of dirty or you feel depressed when you leave them because they sucked all the happiness out of you.
Those energy suckers, those are a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, they're energy vampires. Just gotta stay away from them. Or those who like, did you hear the news? Oh my gosh, this is happening and this is happening here and this is happening here. You know what I've done to be a happier person? I turned off the news and I only read the highlights that pop up on the page. And then I look at the highlights and I
even the highlights are depressing.
The highlights are depression. I highlight and I look at those highlights and do, does that affect my daily life? Yes or no? No, I won't read more about it. Yes, I better dig in a little bit more. Okay, what's that side? What's that side? And then I determine, is this going to be an effect or have an effect on my life in the future? Yes, okay, better dig in a little bit more. No, it's something else, someone else's problem, I'll leave it alone.
Right.
And it keeps you happy. Yes, keep the pig pens out of your life. Right. And right now, honestly, every news channel is pretty much a pig pen.
Yeah, it's for sure. And it's huge. Yeah. I will bring up one thing too, because I'm going to cover this topic very similar to this at a speech that I'm doing here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Up in Denver, that your past doesn't dictate your future.
Past does not define you.
Yes, we can say it many different ways, but your past isn't necessarily your future. Your past isn't your future, because we can always take that past and we can get rid of that past and we can start anew. Because part of my story is the fact that I was adopted and everything. I probably didn't live the greatest life, which is what I've learned as I've been writing my book and stuff. But I never looked at it that way until now. I never looked back at it and analyzed it until now. Because when I lived through it, it was no big deal. I lived day for day, minute for minute. Everything was positive, everything, the whole 9 yards.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, my past, whatever it was and the things I had in my childhood, doesn't mean that I can't move forward. Doesn't mean that I can't be successful. Doesn't mean that I can't do something. My past does not dictate my future.
And that's my whole platform about who I am. Who I am today are all the lessons I learned from my past so I can be a better me today.
Right. Well, Dinky says it here too. Your past makes you who you are with the lessons learned from your past, or with lessons learned. And I agree, you have to bring the lessons forward, but also those lessons only come when you're in the moment and look at it as a lesson instead of a tragedy.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about is don't forget your past. Only remember the things that you learned from your past experiences. And that's power. That's growth. That is exponential growth if you're willing to learn from your past.
Right.
Now, if you keep repeating the same thing over and over again and wondering, well, how come this isn't changing? That's a definition of insanity.
Right.
You have to learn and move forward.
Well, it's like, have you ever been hypnotized?
Not that I remember.
Not that you remember? Okay. Neither have I. However, I did know somebody who does that. Mm-hmm. And her specialty is PTSD. Mm-hmm. What she believes in,
I have been.
Right. What she believes in is that our incidents and our emotions are tied together. And when she hypnotizes you, she separates those. So she takes the emotion from the incident so you can still remember the incident.
Yeah, that's also called EMDR.
Is that what it is? I had no idea there was a name for it.
EMDR, it moves your memories from emotionally present.
Right.
A lot of people live in tragedy and they go into the medulla, and it's the
big words.
Yeah, the emotion is real.
Right.
And what they do with EMDR is they move it to a storyline into another part of your brain, so you can still remember everything about the incident, but you see it as a storyline, like you're the outside person. Mm-hmm. You know it's you, but you take away the emotion and it doesn't hurt as much.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing about it, is removing the emotion. And if we can do that on a daily basis, now I know there's tragedies. Don't get me wrong. There's tragedies, there's incidents, there's all this other kind of stuff.
Of course.
I get that. But on a day-to-day basis, a lot of times we just have to look at it as something that's logical or has a logical definition to it, or it's defined that way, as opposed to an emotional response.
He's talking to me like I haven't been a captive rape victim and all that other jazz. Yeah,
wasn't referring to you. All right.
That's what I'm saying is I've used that EMDR process with my counselor, because that I don't want to go there, but that whole rape for 10 months, that's very traumatic. That's emotional trauma that doesn't ever leave. And the only way I could walk down the street without being fearful of every man who walked near me was to have that emotional thing. Yes, I learned a lot of really good lessons, but move it into the other part of my brain so I remember it all. Right. But I'm not a victim of it every time it happened, every time I remember any of that. So think about that kind of stuff. If you do have any trauma in your life, EMDR, hypnosis, that kind of stuff is very powerful in order to live your life.
I believe that with somebody like you and the situations that you've had, yes, it takes somebody to help you with that. But really what I'm talking about here today is the fact of that moving from day to day to make your life a little bit more happy. A little more happier or happy?
Happier.
A little happier.
Making life happier.
Yes.
More pleasant.
More pleasant. There we go. Pleasanter. No, anyway. So
more pleasant.
Just doing it for today or doing it for tomorrow on a normal day-to-day circumstance, whether it's for your family or whether it's for you or whether it's for your business, these are the day-to-day things that we can contend with ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we can battle with ourselves and should be able to be successful with it. It all just depends on our perspective.
Hi, I wrote a book called Overcoming You. It's not luck, Overcoming You. It is a workbook that helps you walk through and work through whatever issue is holding you back.
Right.
So basically, it's your everyday things that you do. I'm not good enough because.
Oh, hey, you know what?
What?
Now I can say it.
What?
Okay, Dr. Ross.
Oh yeah, I'm a doctor now. Doctor.
You know what? We're at
Rule
50
my
minutes, so
world,
should we keep
to
going?
rule my world. Not your age, mama.
Not your shoe size.
Not your shoe size, baby. We can really.
At least you're in the Prince world.
Yes, that's the whole thing. Is you can overcome anything in your life. Yes, it's not. It can be difficult. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it hurts. Yes. All those things. But yes, you can. And so with controversy, remember, don't take it personally. It's that other person's opinion against yours. And usually when there's controversy and it's highly against you and they're pushing hard, it's because you do not agree with them. And the whole thing about people is it's all about me. People, when you're talking to, it's about them. So what is it about them that you can help them, ease it through their mind? I respect your opinion.
Well, I think that's usually the best
from.
way, because what's that story? If she's talking, she's lying. Or if I'm talking, I'm talking.
It's all perception from your own perspective.
Right.
Your
you
own
always want to
experience.
listen to the other person and what their perspective is.
Yeah.
So when it comes to sales, okay, and it even comes to selling your wife or selling your spouse, whatever,
Wait, fix that wording. Selling them on an idea, not selling them.
not street selling them.
Yeah, just he's not
selling them on the idea.
He is not human trafficking his wife. Just
I could make more money that way, though. It's always that entrepreneurial mindset.
But that's it. Remember, everyone comes from their own perception, their own experiences, and their own opinions of what their lives have formed them to at that point in time. If you have a disagreement with someone, remember, it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them and where they've come from.
Right.
If it's not a life or death situation, you need to back off, because you, in that one moment in time that you are interacting with them, is not going to change their opinion. It's built upon years of their life, their experience, and what they have. And on that note, we've been on the air for 52 minutes.
This is like our longest show.
It is our longest show.
But I think it's been a good one.
It has been an awesome one. Thank you so much for every one of you who've joined us on this, because, we need to talk. And that's really what started the porch.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight talk and, what's going through our minds.
Well, share this too, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who needs to hear what we just talked about today.
Yeah. And we'll talk more, in the future. And I want to see who that last comment is, because I can't see it. Highest bid only.
I think she's talking for the wife.
Yeah. Don't worry, Julie. We don't plan on selling you, no matter how much entrepreneurship is inside of his brain and his body.
It's kind of interesting, though. I don't think Julie ever listens to this. I know Michael does, but I don't think Julie does.
No, my husband is one of the rare people who actually watches and reads everything I do. Most of us out there in the
That's
world,
because he's obsessed with you.
Yeah, no. Kind of loves me a little bit. Just a little bit. So anyways, remember, controversy is a good thing. It does move the world. It does create innovation. But remember, you cannot change everyone's mind. Just like that proverb of the lion, the tiger, and the donkey. Sometimes an ass is an ass. Sometimes a tiger is a tiger. Let them be. Let them walk.
I do have to bring it up. We did bring up our spouses.
Mm-hmm.
Is controversy good in a marriage, or should it be a perfect marriage?
Controversy is what grows us.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you're passive through the whole thing, you're just succumbing, and then nothing grows, and you're just together.
Because there's these people out there that say, well, our marriage is perfect. We've been married 5 years and we've never fought about anything.
Michael and I have never fought. We've been married for 35, 34 years.
Yeah, but you take time and go to Philly. Time and distance fix sing sometimes.
If you love someone, set them free.
Exactly. They'll come back.
They'll come back if they still love you. Now there's 3 comments. But that's the thing is, we've been married a long time, but we do not fight. We do have debates, though.
I am going to say, Dinky said it a couple times here. She says, delete my comments. I'm not deleting her comments, because her comments make the conversation worth having the conversation.
Yeah, you're driving us.
There's no reason to delete them. That's what the porch is for. We take other opinions. We have our opinions, but you guys have your opinions too. So providing your opinion, Dinky, is
Yeah, thank you for being there.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah.
giving
There's
an
no
opinion.
reason to delete it, and if we delete them, then nobody knows what heck we're talking about.
And Jennifer, thank you for telling us pig pen pigs. Yes, avoid the pig pens in the world. They might be nice people, but they're sucking it off of you. So stop. And they're rubbing off on you. Don't let that dirt come off on you. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you the next time we come on Denim and Pearls. And until then, peace, love, happiness. Be the best version of you unapologetically. And
yeah, I don't have them
you don't
either.
have your glasses. So peace. In other words, I'm a bad penny, but I'm really shiny. No, he's a dirty old